outside of Anchorage, Alaska. I'm right at the Turnagain Arm. You can see the ocean down there with the sun setting over it, gotten some mountains in the background. And this is a really beautiful view of the Alaskan Ocean during the winter. It's got ice over it and tides coming in and out. It's just what a great sunset. In this video, I wanted to talk about momentum. Now, if you take a look at snow, snow is the most inert state of water, right? It's trapped, the water molecules are trapped within a lattice structure and they're vibrating very quickly like that, but they're locked in place. Very unlike the water that's down there, obviously. However, once you pile snow up on top of a mountain surface, you store kinetic energy. And that has the potential to turn itself into one of the most powerful forces in nature, basically an avalanche. What happens is one little snow particle causes other little snow particles to move, which causes other snow particles to move, creating this cascade effect, which creates this huge and powerful force that can destroy trees all the way down the mountainside and anything else that's in its way. To understand how we can apply this to ourselves, we need to understand that the human body has a lot of different cycles that are interacting with each other on each different time scale. There's cycles that occur in milliseconds, like gamma wave oscillations within our brain. There are cycles that happen within minutes or hours, like levels of melatonin throughout the day. And there's cycles that happen over the course of years, like when you're going through puberty. So each one of these cycles are interacting with each other on different time scales, and one little perturbance in each one of the cycles can affect the other. Now, that's not always going to happen. It's not always going to be a butterfly effect like that. But I think as new Mavericks, we need to have the idea of always trying to make the right decisions so that when one decision actually causes something to happen, you get that cascade effect that we're looking for, leading to success within any niche that we're trying to succeed within. So I'm going to try not to get too bogged down in neuroscience talk here, but I wanted to give one example. The example we'll look at will be whether you hit that snooze button or not when you wake up. So let's say your alarm goes off in the morning and you have two choices. You can either get up and take a shower and go to work, or you can hit that snooze button just for like 5 more minutes of sleep and see what happens. Well, let's say, for example, that you get up and you get to the shower. All of a sudden, you've started this positive cascade of emotions. In your head, you're already thinking, well, I've got time to eat breakfast and meditate this morning before work. This is going to be great. I'm going to feel good. And in doing so, your brain starts to release dopamine in your brain, within your caudate nucleus, for example. So once you have that going up within your caudate nucleus, within your brain, you get different patterns that emerge in your brain. So for example, different parts of your brain come online and things like gamma wave oscillations recruit those different areas. You start to feel more awake simply because more areas of your brain are coming online, being recruited by those oscillation patterns within the circuits of your brain. In doing so, levels of serotonin, norepinephrine, and other chemicals start to come online and your mood improves. As you're getting into the shower, this is already happening. Not let alone that, because you have enough time to compose yourself, your brain basically tells the adrenal glands on top of your kidneys that you don't need cortisol today, at least it's not as much as you would if you were stressed. And lower levels of cortisol in your blood do crazy things, like right down to the chromosome level, there's telomeres on each end. And lower levels of cortisol will literally improve the lifelong length of these chromosomes in each one of your cells, improving the likelihood that you live longer. In the brain specifically, lower levels of cortisol allow different cells to start expressing a protein called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is known to enhance the synaptic connections within your hippocampus and other areas of your brain, allowing those to come online and function properly. And maybe just because you decided to not hit that snooze button and get right to it, the brain-derived neurotrophic factor increases the activity of the hippocampus, and perhaps you remember something that happened to you earlier and come up with a great idea that propels you from the next days, months, and years into your career. Now again, that's not always going to happen, but we want to make the right decisions in order to allow something like that to happen. In contrast, if you had hit that snooze button, maybe you slipped into lower levels of sleep and that made you groggy, and when you got up 5 minutes later you felt rushed, raising cortisol levels, not expressing those different neurochemicals, including the brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and basically you're just coping throughout the day rather than thriving. So make the right decisions, and perhaps you will get your own butterfly effect in your life, building into a force of nature like the avalanche that has nothing in its way and will stop at nothing to get to where it's going. This is Cody Rall with New Mavericks. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.
Nigga, we made it.
My fingers are cold.